I'm Diana Falzone, and this is 4for4 Science, where we discuss 4 science topics at the speed of light, sort of. Fish in the ocean may need some antacids. At least that's one theory as to what a strange ocean buzz is. I bet a little fish is going, oh, excuse me. James, tell us about fish flatulence.
Fish flatulence, fish farts. I can't believe we finally got to this point.
Word.
So for a while now, scientists have been puzzled, as you say, by this kind of weird noise emanating from the depths of the Pacific. It could be one of two things. It could be the fish coming up to feed and going back down again, emitting some sort of strange communication thing, or they could be emitting gas from their swim bladders, which basically controls buoyancy, which leads us to the theory of fish farts.
Everybody does it.
I think it's cool. If this is true, then it also turns out that it's going to be the largest migration of any mammal in the ocean, or any animal in the ocean. So I think that'll just be also really interesting. Break the record for that.
Break the record and the
Breaking
win.
a few things.
Yeah, well, the other question is, though, isn't this buzzing sound just essentially acting as kind of a dinner bell for all of these predators to come? They hear it, and it's like, all right, let's go feast on this massive column of fish that are moving around.
Ooh.
So,
and it's a vast amount of, animals kind of coming up and down. I think it's like, 10 billion tons, I think was the number that we mentioned. So obviously this is a lot of movement, and kind of in more ways than one.
Definitely. NASA astronaut Scott Kelly has returned from his year in space. Why is his space stint so epic, Claire?
Yeah, so even though he's landed and he's done with his mission, NASA still has so much more to do. So they're going to continue testing him and his identical twin brother, and that's the big deal, that they have this identical twin study that they can now analyze both the twins and see really what the impact that space had on Scott Kelly.
Right, and his brother was the control in this experiment, right?
I was watching an interview with him just before I came in here. He looks in really good shape for 340 days in space. And what's amazing to me, he's been asked, would you do it again? Would you go back up there? And he's like, yes, absolutely. And, I think what we can learn from all this stuff, in terms of NASA's long-term plan to get to Mars, it's really, really significant that we have these really epic space missions. He's done an amazing job.
Yes, he has.
yeah, and kind of planning for that trip to Mars, he did quite a bit of gardening when he was up there, which I think is a great way to spend 340 days. He grew some lettuce and was able to eat it. He was also really proud of his zinnias, which bloomed in January.
Oh, that's a beautiful message there. It is. What I found really interesting was just what we're learning about the impacts of being in space for a year and what you have to do in order to keep his body going, running on a treadmill or doing any kind of exercise for 2.5 hours per day. New scans of King Tut's tomb may reveal a hidden burial chamber. James, what does this potential reveal actually mean for history?
Well, we've been hearing rumours for a long, long time now that there may be a hidden burial chamber in King Tut's tomb. It may belong to Queen Nefertiti. Now, the Egyptian authorities are saying they're going to do a big radar scan of the tomb on April the 2nd, and then there'll be a big press conference reveal after that. If it's true, and it may not be the case, but if it's true, then it's going to be a very, very significant discovery of a new chamber in the modern era. It's huge, potentially.
I think if it is true, it shouldn't be kept a secret. We should do the scan. We should open it up to the public. I mean, if this is a significant piece of history, it should be shared with the world.
Well, I think that's interesting is for all this talk of is it Nefertiti's tomb, there's another group of Egyptologists who are saying we already found Nefertiti's mummy. They found a mummy, they did a DNA analysis on it, and it suggests it may be King Tut's mother, a.k.a. Nefertiti.
Right.
Or stepmother.
And if they actually can make the conclusion that isn't indeed what they think it is, this could actually help business for Egypt and bring back the tourists because some people have been afraid to travel there. Dodo birds were in Dodos after all, according to new research. Sarah, tell us about this unfortunate stereotype for these now extinct creatures.
Yeah, these birds definitely got a bad rap, but in this study, scientists, they took scans of a dodo's skull, and from that they could approximate the size of the brain. And one way scientists think about animal intelligence is by looking at the size of the brain compared to the size of the body. Turns out for dodos, that brain-to-body ratio is similar to what you would see in pigeons today, and pigeons are actually quite smart.
Yep.
I feel dodos have had a really rough deal. One, we wiped them out, and then two, we basically just talk bad about them in kind of historical terms, that they were stupid. I mean, so they really talk about history belongs to the winners. But I love this, the whole idea that, you know, basically they weren't what we thought they were, kind of in terms of intelligence.
It's like dodo genocide.
And also the idea that pigeons are actually quite smart. Like, maybe pigeons are getting a bad rep too.
Yeah, there's a stereotype for sure. Claire?
Yeah, I think this is really good, like, PR for the dodo. I mean, it's just, the bird has just been, like, you know, so demoralized for such a long time that I think it's like they're going to make their comeback. I think it'll be great.
At this point, the pigeons should be writing a thank you to the dodos and be like, look, we can do basic math. Surprise, surprise, humans. Now I know what we think. Tell us what you think using the hashtag Four4Four Science. And remember, pigeons are not really your friends. Be careful on the streets. Important PSA.